Welcome to O2EX, where ordinary people doing extraordinary things have their dime of shine. A dime of shine is an opportunity for us to introduce and share the amazing people we discover with you. You'll meet everyday people, your postman, a bottling plant worker, park ranger, minister, and more. These people might be your neighbors, the ones you brush elbows with in a grocery store or department store. Do you know who they really are? What drives them? Their passions? Most importantly, the impact they're making on your community and maybe even you personally. Meet Terrell Worrell, loving father, husband, postal worker. Welcome. It's good to have you here with us today. You live in Northern Virginia with your beautiful wife, is that correct?
Yes, I married my beautiful wife, Jennifer, in August of 1996. We have 4 children, Zoe, 12, Terrell, Jr., 10, Ariana, 7, and Annalicia, 5, just turned 5.
And how long have you been with the Postal Service?
I have been with the Postal Service for September will be 22 years. I started carrying mail, and I carried mail for 8 years. Then I wanted to go back to school. It's Catholic University, and so I went inside for about 11 years. Then I came back outside, and so I've been delivering mail for about 3 years.
And you've lost a couple of friends as a result of working for the Postal Service and even almost lost your own life. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I used to work at the Brentwood facility in Washington, D.C. And in 2001, October 2001, 2 letters came through our facility laced and actually filled with weaponized anthrax.
Terrell Worrell has worked at Brentwood for more than a decade. When letters came into Brentwood, he says, they were placed on one of these machines that sorts the mail by zip code. But no one knew at the time that inside the Dashiell letter that was being jostled by sorting machine 17 was a white powder carrying finely milled weapons-grade anthrax.
They dressed in hazmat gear from head to toe and conducted their tests while we were there in our street clothes. All mail that goes to the government in Washington, D.C. comes through Brentwood. So the postal officials actually knew that the letter would come through our facility. However, rather than to shut the facility down, they kept it open, kept the machines running 24/7, and the anthrax just became aerosolized.
And tonight on ABC 7 News at 11, as Brentwood workers continue to be rushed to local hospitals, their counterparts on Capitol Hill are already receiving treatment for possible anthrax inhalation.
We were breathing it in for 10, 24-hour days. You come in and you breathe in some anthrax. You go home to your families with spores all over you. Come back the next day of your tour and do the same thing, and this went on. And they never shut the facility down until 2 individuals died. I knew them personally, and it was just such a horrifying, devastating experience. Thomas Morris and Joseph Kersing. And you'd see them every day, and you never would have suspected that we were in that danger. And for the postal officials to tell us that everything was okay and we were safe.
Well, Kathleen, in tonight's story, more workers continue to get sick and their symptoms are becoming more severe. Meantime, postal officials are demanding answers from the government about the risks to workers at Brentwood. But it's all falling on deaf ears on Capitol Hill as lawmakers save most of their concern for Hill staffers.
On Capitol Hill, when they found out the letter said, this is anthrax. When they found out this was anthrax, the Capitol Hill police shut the building down, shut the ventilation system down in 2 hours. The people were treated, they were given Cipro, and they went home. With Brentwood, 10, 24-hour days. Mr. Haney said, don't be alarmed by their suits, just stay out of their way and let them do their job. When we stood up, basically the union was siding with management, and this almost gave us a false sense of security. While we were working, management told us, pay no attention to these men dressed in moon suits. And people came in actually in hazmat gear and tested. Management came back to us and said, we've tested and the building is safe. But it wasn't until the two individuals died, Mr. Morris and Mr. Kursing, that management said, okay, let's shut the building down. Later on, the CDC would come back and say that the facility was contaminated more than any other building that they'd ever seen. We obviously felt wrong, distraught. Some people quit, some people were fired, some people got transfers.
Some people died.
Some people died.
And even you and hundreds of other people actually went to the doctor and had a tangible report of failing health. Tell us about your health and how it was affected by it.
My doctor had me take an x-ray, a CT scan, and a biopsy where they actually went in, took a little piece of my lung and examined it. And well, from the x-ray, my doctor said I looked like I had been a heavy smoker all of my life, or if I had a lung disease. And I'd never smoked a cigarette a day in my life. But physically, there are different ways. Whenever I sing, I can feel the difference in my singing, that I don't have the same breath that I used to have. Initially, when it happened, we were bringing anthrax spores home and potentially affecting our loved ones, not even knowing it. There is one individual that affected me tremendously, Mr. Richmond, who almost died, Mr. Leroy Richmond. And while he had suffered inhalation anthrax, the postal officials kept coming to him and his doctors saying, when can he come back to work? And his doctors were saying, just let him get better. He wants to get better. And they would come back again, but when can he come back to work? And so the lesson that this taught me is not to seek physical compensation or even retaliation. Immediately, that is what we wanted. But we come to realize that life, health, and strength, just what I have now. So whenever I would go to Richmond and ask him how you doing, he was positive. And he was more about, I thank God I'm here. And I may not be able to do the things I used to do, but I'm here. Any day above ground, so much better than,
Oh, what a fantastic attitude. We can't even imagine what you've gone through. It was such an ordeal. And your plate is so full with community service and your family and work and dealing with that issue. But you have an outside life. You've been positive as well. And you've gone forth and still thriving and giving back. You haven't let this slow you down or stop you in any kind of way. One would think you have very little energy left. And outside of your day job, you have another life. You're an accomplished artist. You have a degree in fine arts from Virginia State University.
Yes, I have a bachelor's of fine arts degree from Virginia State. I love painting, drawing, sketching.
You're also a composer and working on a bachelor's degree at Catholic University.
Yes, I am. What would happen when creating a musical or a play, I would always have to go to other individuals to actually bring the music to life. So I decided if I went to Catholic, then it would empower me to bring the music to life myself.
That's tremendous. And you're doing other things. You're also a playwright. Tell us about, you're working on an original score?
Yes, I'm working on a play right now, and it's entitled Job, the Man from the Land of Uz. And it's a musical with tragic implications, but I don't really want to put it in a box. And it's not completely a tragedy, but it's more like a theatrical experience, a drama, and it keeps in line with the narrative from the Bible, with artistic license, creative license, of course. It's going to be music, singing, dancing, and just the wonderful plot that the story of Job gives us.
You've also been involved in putting together an orchestra. Tell me how that came about.
One Sunday, while sitting in the balcony, the bishop was giving his Sunday message, and he just mentioned the fact that he'd always had a dream or an aspiration that one day he could envision or see an orchestra in the church. Since I just come from Catholic, I just felt compelled to try to help to make this dream a realization. So I wrote him a letter and kind of volunteered, and he was more than happy to say, go at it. I went around, had a sign-up sheet, and children came to me from all different ages. Not only children, but we have some adults, some young people. We have cellos, we have violins, we have percussion, we have trumpets, we have clarinetists, and it's just a wonderful experience. We started out with very elementary music, and music that was so simple, like Jesus Loves Me, This I Know. And lately they did music, and I'm so proud of them, at our anniversary dinner. And they did actually My Tribute by Andre Crouch. Recently, for the Easter service, they did the Via Dolorosa, and I'm so proud of them. And they're not just playing easy music, but the thing that the children do is that they bring it to life, and that even though they may see some music that's like 70 measures long, rather than saying, wow, this is too long, I can't do this, but they try. I love seeing the children grow. They give to me, I believe, just as much as I give to them. And it's just an overwhelming experience to know that you can see an individual, to see a child, and to see that potential, and to just try to help them to stand on our shoulders, to become better individuals. I mean, so many people helped me when I was coming up. So many people inspired me. So many people gave to me. It just seems like it's only the right thing to do.
I can concur, completely concur. It's about sometimes intrinsic value. The service is your reward.
Yes, yes it is.
So you're also a composer and a conductor, which leads me to one question. Why not leave the Postal Service and follow your passions? It's about community service.
Yes, you're absolutely right. It's all about giving back. I feel that so many individuals have invested in me. I feel obligated to invest in others. I just love helping and doing whatever I can to see this untapped talent in these children or these young people and help them to see it. And just to see that potential and the realization of something that didn't exist before. Yes, it is about giving.
Donating your talents freely, sharing your God-given gifts and passions is deeply and personally what you consider your reward. You are a musician, a composer, a playwright, father, family man, friend, and more. That's exactly what this show is about. Ordinary people doing extraordinary things. You are helping to make our world a better place, and we're here to say thank you. And I thank you for being a part of our show.
Thank you.
Mentors and heroes can be found in our backyards, our schools, churches, and yes, even in our local post office. Stay with us as we continue our quest to bring you ordinary people living extraordinary lives and find that our heroes are often right next door. Next time, it might be you.